something that he needs to make changes in how he's actually, controlling and working his secondary.
That's a great point. Is it just a Murray thing or is it a thing for the future? So we'll find out this Sunday. The Lions spread the ball around pretty well against the Cardinals.
At the stop sign, turn right onto Old South Telegraph Road.
Who was the Lions' best offensive player on Sunday?
Kenny Galladay. I thought he was the...
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Orchard Lake Road.
They made their change or why they were successful, but to me it was Kenny Galladay being able to stretch the field, being an extra weapon. They've had TJ Hawkinson to have...
At the light, use the left 2 lanes to turn onto Orchard Lake Road.
I don't disagree, but I do want to give Matthew...
Turn left.
Credit. He did miss some throws, obviously James in the end zone, but no turnovers and 119 quarterback rating. And if you can be efficient, you don't have to be great all the time. And I thought he was, for the most part, efficient and played winning football.
And you mentioned a name there that at least let's acknowledge he wasn't the best player, but Jesse James the live.
Yes, exactly. The outlaw. The outlaw showed up.
Stoney called him out, he showed up. That's
right.
how it works. When Stoney calls you out, then the
Yes.
opposite happens. So way to go, Stoney.
Thank you.
All right, the Lions host the Saints on Sunday, who might be without Michael Thomas for a third straight game. Do the Lions have to win this game if they truly want to compete for a playoff spot?
No, believe it or not, because even if they lose, look, 1-3 at the bye is not good. You'd rather them win. But in their next 6 games, they easily, the Lions could go 4-2, which would put them at 5-5. And they play 4 of their last 5 games at home.
I need to do something for not only the Wide 9, but for this station. When hosts are playing the schedule...
In 7.3 miles, at the roundabout, take the second exit onto Orchard Lake Road.
As a former player, I bet you hate that game.
No, I play it. Trust me, wait till you get to my answer. Get the sounder, Greg. Get the sounder ready, because here we go.
Yeah, and like I said, alleged winnable games in their next 6, and then at the end of the season, 4 of their last 5 are at home. So they could still be 9-7, but it'd be nice to win some. It's easier.
9-7. They could be 10-6. They play the Jags, Atlanta, Colts, Minnesota, Washington, Carolina, Texas, the Bears again, and Minnesota again. I play the schedule game for 12 years in the NFL. I go through the schedule and I find a way for us to get to a championship, whether it's a division, it's a conference championship, Super Bowl championship, I don't care. If they win those winnable games, I'm not saying they're going to win all of them, and they lose, and I'm going to call these losable games because I should say they're all losable, but the Saints, the Packers, Tennessee, the Bucks, that gets them to 10-6. Now, do I think they're going to get to 10-6? Probably not, but I do think that they can still get to that wild card spot. There's no question they can.
Okay, until I see more evidence that this defense is getting better. Right. Okay, so about 6 of those games have good quarterbacks, I think. Quarterbacks will at least put some points on the line. So we're going to see a lot of the games like we saw last week. And you'd guess those go 500. So schedule game-wise, 7-9, 8-8. I don't know. I think they need to win this game because I do believe it'll be huge for tiebreakers down the line because they're probably not winning a division. It's going to be a wild card. And with the NFC West being so good, and speaking of the NFC West, every team over there right now is above 500. The Seahawks are 3-0, but they've given up a league worst 497 yards per game and over 28 points per game. Who will ultimately win the NFC West? And do you think the NFC West can nab all 3 wild card spots?
I don't think they're going to nab all 3. I think that's going a little bit far. Who's going to win the NFC West? To me, that's Seattle. Their defense is going to come around. Russell Wilson is playing as good as we've seen a quarterback play at the start of the season. Arizona, I'm still not sold on Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. The LA Rams, they're, to me, just kind of meh. And then San Francisco, you lose as many players as you did to injury. At some point, it's going to catch up to you. Those players, they bounced back last week because they wanted to make a statement. They were motivated, but I don't think they have the staying power. Seattle's going to win that division. I think there's 2 teams out of that division that end up making the playoffs.
Don't sleep on the Rams, though. I mean, defensively, they have the best defensive player in the National Football League. They also have Jalen Ramsey, who's pretty damn good as well. So
left lane.
that much. And I just think it would be cool for the Jets to actually maybe have a great quarterback again. It would be nice. Also, you have to figure out who the coach is going to be because it won't be Gase. I think the Giants, because of their history, they've won. I think they're going to be a little more stubborn. Their coach has been there. It's only been there 3 games. So I'd like to see Trevor Lawrence go to the Jets.
I would say the same. Go to the Jets. And Sam Darnold, to me, I was not a fan of drafting him high. I was not a fan of him coming out early because I thought he was a turnover machine at USC. I don't know that he's going to get much better. Daniel Jones is in his 2nd year. I'm not ready to throw him out, and I'm not ready to throw out Sam Darnold either. I just would expect more progress from a 3rd-year quarterback than I would necessarily Daniel Jones in year 2 because Sam Darnold, for the most part, has been the starter with the Jets. So I'm going to go with the Jets.
You know who I think could do wonders for Sam Darnold is somebody like Sean McVay.
Yeah.
I think he could get the best out of Sam Darnold and make him a legitimate starter in the NFL. All right, the Titans are 3-0 with just a +6-point differential. The Bills are 3-0. They got a fortunate pass interference call to beat the Rams. Then you have the Bears who are 3-0, but they may be the first 3-0 in league history to make a quarterback change that didn't result in an injury. So we're playing a game here. Which of these 3 teams is conference championship bound? Which is wild card bound? And which is a fraud?
To me, this is a no-brainer. I look at the Titans and I say, okay, in their conference, they've got Houston, hasn't won a game. They've got Indy, that's a beatable team. Jacksonville, I think they're going to fall apart at some point. And so I think Titans are the conference champs. The Bills, is simply because of Josh Allen, they're going to have moments where they look unbeatable because of what he can do at that position. He's also a 2nd-year guy, so there's a learning curve. He's going to make mistakes. And to me, the Bears are a fraud. They should have lost to Detroit. They should have lost to Atlanta, and they beat the Giants. They're a 3-0 team that could very well be 1-2 at best or 0-3.
I agree with you on the Bears. They're more of the fraud. I mean, the Foles magic was wonderful. I don't think it's going to continue. I think the Bills are the conference championship bound team because of their defense. Defense wins championships. Their defense is so freaking good. And I think Josh Allen has proven he's getting better and better and better. The Titans are a good team. And, they probably will win. They might win the division. So
stride at that point. So that's the one I'm looking at as could hang them up a little bit.
The answer is no. I don't think they'll be undefeated. Injuries, whatever, and also you said schedule game. This week they play New England. It's at home, but it still might not be that easy of a game. You're looking at Tampa. I'm looking at Buffalo. That's the game that I think is going to be very interesting. So I'm going to say no.
All right, finally, a little college nugget. LSU lost by 10 at home to unranked Mississippi State. Oklahoma blew a 17-point lead at home to unranked Kansas State. Two playoff teams from last year already haven't lost. Do you put this on COVID or a lack of a non-conference tune-up, or was it just a typical college football set?
Well, LSU, I think a lot of it had to do with COVID because no fans there. But I think it was typical college football. LSU lost so many players. Their quarterback, their wide receiver, Stingley was hurt. So a lot of their best players either didn't come back or were injured. Kansas State beat Oklahoma last year, so it was typical.
I think Chris Kleiman, the head coach of Kansas State, is probably the kryptonite to Lincoln Riley. There's always that one guy that you struggle with, and it could be him for Lincoln Riley. But to me, I didn't see these as necessarily upsets. Yeah, the Kansas State, Oklahoma, but Oklahoma has a new quarterback, and you mentioned the turnover at LSU. Not only do you have the turnover in the roster, but you lost Joe Brady as play caller on offense. You lost Dave Aranda as your defensive coordinator. Just way too much turnover. They were ranked way too high to even start the season. So not a surprise, but I don't think either team is a playoff team this year.
All right, that is the Wide 9 here on 97.1 The Ticket. Hey, you want to get away, relax, have a great time. The weather's always good, a little hot, but sit at the pool, have a great time in Las Vegas. And the D is your place for Vegas. Book your room today at thed.com. If you want to golf in Vegas, the great folks at the D will hook you up with all the great, and I mean great golf courses that they have in Las Vegas. Obviously, you want to have some good places to eat. At the D itself, they've got the Joe Vicari's Andiamo Italian Steakhouse right there, voted the best steak in downtown Vegas. Get a group together, go to the D Las Vegas, and book your room at thed.com. The Lawn Bar is a great place to hang out, socially distanced.
In 1 mile, at the roundabout, take the second exit onto Orchard Lake Road.
It's the D.com. The D, Las Vegas, your home for Detroit sports in Las Vegas. 97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJE and 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by Comcast Business. Be prepared for a little bit of a delay this morning as a car fire leaves only the right side open and 14 westbound just after 275. Today, businesses are starting to bounce back, but what if you could do better than that? What if you could adapt and find new ways to succeed with new customers? Well, Comcast Business wants to help you do just that. Learn how you can not just bounce back, but bounce forward at ComcastBusiness.com. I'm Michelle Penny with traffic.
Helmet-to-helmet contact. Legal here. This Radio.com Sports Minute is brought to you by Hall Financial. Go to DavidHallMortgage.com. This coincides with the Radio.com Sports Minute.
At the roundabout, take the second exit onto Orchard Lake Road.
Today, the king abdicates his throne. Blue Shirts Brass will reportedly announce that they are buying out the final year of Henrik Lundqvist's contract. It's been inevitable for 6 months, but that doesn't make it any less painful to formally part ways with the beloved and classy superstar goaltender who is one of the greatest players in franchise history, much like Patrick Ewing did with the Knicks.
In 2.1 miles, keep right to merge onto I-696 west toward Lansing.
When he does retire, his number 30 jersey will certainly be raised to the rafters, and man, that will be one awesome night. I guarantee that I'll be hoarse after chanting, Henrik, 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 the Garden faithful all night long. What a Ranger career. A Boomer Esiason.
If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you that running a business is tough, but you might be making it harder on yourself than necessary. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets netsuite.com/am. netsuite.com/am.
24 monthly lease, 10,500 miles a year, no security deposit. Total loan signing F-150 3409. Fusion 2426. Fusion pricing for returning lessees trading a 1995 or newer vehicle. Easy plan pricing for returning lessees, including board select inventory rebates. Plus tax title license and dog with approved financing through Ford Credit. It's 9/30/2020. Brian Godfrey, is it true Pat Milliken Ford customers can buy online or
In 1 mile, keep right to merge onto I-696 west toward Lansing.
From home, we offer that too with our Milliken Express program.
And right now, you can lease a new 2020 Ford F-150 XLT Super Crew 4x4 or a new 2020 Fusion SE, both Milliken Express price from just $149 a month.
Plus, with the Ford Promise, customers who finance through Ford can return their purchase within a year if faced with financial hardship due to loss of employment. Visit the dealership for more details.
Start your experience online at patmillikenford.com or visit the dealership on Telegraph Road.
Pat Milliken Ford, over 60 years of the experience you deserve. This pandemic has taken away many things. It's robbed us from our day-to-day, kept us from our work and play, and erased our views of regular, standard, and normal. But it's taught us a lot as well, including what and who matters most. That's why it's more important than ever to help protect your loved ones from the flu this season. Make a flu shot appointment for yourself and the people you care about most at Kroger.com/flu. At Kroger Health, we believe that your people are our people.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. Mortgage rates are at an all-time low, and now is the time to refinance. Giving our clients 5-star service is our number one.
Use the right lane to keep right to merge onto I-696 west toward Lansing.
Parents, do you want to save your child's life? 97.1 The Ticket Student Heart Check can help. Book the time to have your child checked. Contact the Ernst Cardiovascular Center at Beaumont Hospital in Royal Oak. Learn more at 971theticket.com. 97.1 The Ticket and CBS Sports Radio 1270. Your homes for the NFL on Westwood One. The New York Jets host the Denver Broncos. Thursday night football. Pre-evening on 97.1 The Ticket.
In 2.8 miles, keep left onto I-696 west toward I-96 west.
Lions like, Minnesota Twins. Look at 17 straight playoff games. That's incredible. Yeah, I mean, they're good. They usually get there. And this is going back, to Marty was their manager. Man, oh man. They lose to Houston 4-1 yesterday. White Sox also 4-1 over Tampa, 3 Toronto 1. The Yankees, like the Indians. Great National Sparks tonight. Saturday morning. Hardly games. World Series, like I mentioned, also today. So 12 o'clock, all night baseball.
In 2 miles, keep left onto I-696 west toward I-96 west.
1.5. And one other note, I heard Boomer Esiason just mention it in the roster. Rangers are expected to buy out Henrik Lundqvist. But he's not great anymore. Red Wings could use a goalie. I mean, I don't know if he's going to retire. He wants to go be a backup on a really good team or split the duties with Lake Bernier on a team like the Red Wings. I know Cov, who has a man crush on Henrik Lundqvist, would love the King to come to Detroit, right?
I mean, at this point, it doesn't fit. I mean, if he was to come here on a 1-year deal, if I were him, I'd try to get on attached to a cup contender. I'd be in the high hop, try to get in there. But, yeah, some of the best here.
Does starting going to get that haircut, does it make you mad?
Oh, no, it makes me happy, man. He was looking great yesterday.
Yes.
You know, it looks like you're very, it looks like you're ready to come here and do this yesterday. And it's kind of fun. But you keep very well.
Use the left 2 lanes to keep left onto I-696 west toward I-96 west.
Who's your man crush?
My big crush, and this kind of leads me into a question I wanted to ask you guys, because when I was growing up, Kirk Gibson was
Keep left.
Listen, I've talked before about both women.
In 1.4 miles. Continue onto I-96 West.
And watching him play, the way that he played, and I have always wanted to be Kirk Gibson. And then to find out that he was a football player and played baseball too, and had that chance, and he was from the state of Michigan, played with the Tigers. I always had this, I guess, memories, and to this day, I throw out the first pitch of the Tigers games. I've done a lot of different things with the Tigers. I've met a lot of different individuals in the organizations. I have still yet to meet Gibson. And every time I go there, when I went there to throw out the first pitch, he just wasn't feeling well that day.
Continue onto I-96 West.
I get a chance to meet heroes today. And Kirk Gibson, and then I found out he wasn't there. And last time I saw the radio, I'm just disappointed. And I've always wanted to ask him a question.
In 1 mile, take exit 162 toward Novi.
Who's your favorite kid? But if I were to ask him, hey, 84 young kids in to seal a World Series championship against Goose Gossage. We all know what that meant to this city. Obviously, him.
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 162 toward Novi.
Leapt around the bases, Will. Remember the fist pump, and it led the Dodgers to a World Series victory. Which one is your favorite? How do you rank them?
Take the exit.
I think he actually answered it like you said. He can't be
In half a mile, turn left onto Novi Road toward Suburban Showplace.
obviously, the Tigers won meant a lot because it was his hometown team. The Dodgers won a game, but it was
At the light, use the left 2 lanes to turn onto Novi Road towards Suburban Showplace.
baseball's cherished memories. So,
Right.
I don't know. I think he'd rank. He had to, stick a gun to his head. I think he'd say Tigers won. But I don't know. I have no idea.
Other than, I know yours is the boss, but
Turn left.
a sports
Oh, yeah. Well, as a kid, it was Bobby Clark of the Flyers. No doubt about it. He was just my guy growing up. And then you meet people, and they're not as great as you think they will be. But that's an interesting thing. If you could ask a local sports figure one question,
Stay in the middle lane. In half a mile, turn right onto Grand River Avenue.
97 the text was the same number. 248-539-539. 248-539-9797. Here's Tony Ortiz.
WXYD FM.
Stay in the second lane from right.
The radio.com sports station. Sports headlines. All day, every day. From the Sold by Mike Z Sports Desk. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
This update is sponsored by Mother Waddle. NFL officials confirmed last night for ESPN that despite 8 members of the Tennessee Titans organization testing positive this week for COVID-19, they don't believe that they'll have to postpone the Titans game on Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. There is a chance that contest could be moved to Monday night to give Tennessee an extra day to practice in the wake of that outbreak. Meanwhile, the build-up for Sunday's game against the New Orleans Saints.
At the light, turn right onto Grand River Avenue.
The final stretch of the NBA season begins tonight in Orlando as the LA Lakers take on the Miami Heat in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. After spending the last 2.5 months in the league's bubble at the Walt Disney World Resort, LeBron James admits it's been a challenge.
I knew what I was coming, what we were coming here for. Obviously, you didn't. I would be lying if I sat up here and knew that everything inside the bubble would what it would, the toll that it would take on your mind and your body and everything else. But it's been extremely tough.
That stress is one reason why Commissioner Adam Silver recently said that the 2021 NBA season won't begin until January, just to give the players a chance to decompress after a tough season. In the Major League Baseball playoffs yesterday, Houston beats Minnesota 4-1. Tampa Bay knocks off Toronto 3-1. The White Sox defeat Oakland 4-1. The Yankees blast Cleveland 12-3. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Tony Ortiz. For more, stay tuned to 97.1 The Ticket and radio.com.
turn right onto Flint Street.
The ticket, thank you, T.O. By the way, we have some breaking sports news. Serena Williams just withdrew from the French Open with an Achilles injury.
Oh, is it too cold?
Before an Achilles injury for her second round.
I thought about you over the weekend when the French Open players, and that's not a knock at Serena whatsoever.
Turn left onto Grand River Avenue.
But the fact that the French Open players are complaining because
Oh, God.
I thought of you. I could just picture you go.
Yeah. So wear sweats. What's the big deal? You know, go out and play unless it was like freezing.
Do tennis players wear sleeves? You're not supposed to, right?
Well, yeah, you have to. Sometimes you have to. The elements control everything.
I think tennis has maybe had the worst look of any sport during all this COVID stuff.
The U.S.
Djokovic.
Oh, yeah. And it also, look, the U.S. Open, you know, with no fans there, you know, that's what kind of makes the U.S. Open pretty cool when the fans get behind an American, you know, and I love that. All right, so we're asking the question to you. 248-539.
The destination is on your right. 43800 Grand River Avenue. Arrived.
Because John talked about how his man crushes Gibby, and he would ask him to rank his two famous home runs. And yeah, look, the Dodger one obviously is more historic, but it probably brought more joy to his family, to people he knew and loved more than the Tigers one. All right, so and let's try to keep it somewhat current, you know, because the first thing I thought of, yeah, well, ask Isaiah, what did Adrian Daly say to you when the first time you guys played? I mean, we've gone through that 8,000 times, So, a current sports figure, and I'm almost being hypocritical because it's kind of like an old bit. But I would ask Chris Ilitch, why the hell don't you have number 91 in the rafters at Little Caesars? What is the real reason? Just lay it to me straight. Say, look, my dad was offended when Sergey left or signed the offer sheet with the Hurricanes and vowed he would never have number 91 retired, even though he made the hockey Hall of Fame. That'd be number one. There's a couple of others that I'll save, and I don't want to steal people's thunder, but that would be number one. How about you?
I guess when push came to shove, I'd like to ask Bob Quinn, was he forced to keep Jim Caldwell?
That's a good one. Or Matthew Stafford for that matter. I know. Yeah,
I think at the time Quinn got here that he had to keep Stafford, see, what he had in him and could he make things different for him, and he really hasn't or anything. But I think in the real time. But yeah, I mean, I just want to know. I think to me, because I think that cuts him some slack in terms of you need to look at it more as a 3-year time period. Although I don't know if it cuts slack for drafting Jared Davis, Tease Tabor, and Michael Roberts. By the way, that I made them a law firm on Monday when you weren't here.
Oh yeah.
Davis, Tabor, and Roberts.
Whoa.
That's the 2016 or 17 draft, whichever one it was. Although they did get Galladay third.
Yes, they did. Let's talk to Walt in Livonia. You're a 97 on the ticket.
Yeah, how's it going?
Good, Walt. How are you?
Get off work midnight.
Okay.
Listening to you guys.
Appreciate it.
The Kirk Gibson thing, my thing is I grew up with Fedorov, and I actually used to babysit Lee Norwood's kids. And he took me to a hockey camp that when Fedorov first came over to the United States, and I got my picture of me as a little kid with my stick over his stick, and I would ask Sergey Fedorov, what does it feel like to not be in the rafters at, Little Caesars or Joe Louis or whatever?
Right, so that's a good one because that's what I said. I would ask Chris Ilitch why it's not up there.